Hello and welcome to my latest weekly video news from Madison's. Well, delighted to be back here in the office. I've been released from my 10-day lockdown because, as you know, last week I filmed from home because my son had COVID. Thank you so much actually to all the lovely messages I got about that. That's really sweet. He's absolutely fine. His only lasting symptom was his loss of taste. That's coming back now too. And looking, heaps better, and negative tests, which is the main thing. So, and amazingly, my other children didn't catch it. Neither did my husband and I. We were double jabbed, perhaps expected not to, but my other children didn't, which was, relief, I think, to all of us that we won't have to keep starting that 10-day clock again. But yes, back in the office and the market is still booming. So I worked every day from home. Interesting for me, I've not really had to do that much because even during the first lockdown, my husband and I could come to the offices here and work quietly here because our house just simply wasn't big enough to cope with all of us being there. And so, interesting experience for me. It's interesting how many people I meet now who talk about one of their reasons for wanting to move is they no longer need to be near to a station because they think they're not going to go back to the office full time, and they are very, very happy about that. They like working from home. I think it's a period of adjustment, isn't it? You get into a routine, work out your sense of space, get used to switching off in other ways, and many people now loving working from home, which again is one of the reasons it's fueling this massive boom that we're seeing. So despite the fact the stamp duty holiday ended almost a month ago now, we are still phenomenally busy, and it's still caused by enormous buyer demand because of evaluating all those reasons like the work from home argument that I've just mentioned there. Combined with an extreme lack of stock. As I said last week, about 225,000 less properties on the market at the moment than should in normal times to meet demand. So that is why prices continue to rise. And even Savills came out this week and said that they thought prices would go up 11% this year. I was thinking about 5-6% at the beginning of the year. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But due to the extension of the stamp duty holiday, their research department now thinks that that's when where prices are going to end up. Be interesting to see, won't it? There's definitely still regional differences. So interestingly, a report came out on London. So outer London has an 80% increase in demand in people looking for new homes, be that buying or renting. And inner London, the last month is up just 2%. So at least it's not negative as it has been throughout most of the pandemic, actually a huge exodus from the city in that search for space. And as I've said, no longer needing to be quite so convenient for working in the office. So differences there. And of course, differences in the type of property. I've talked about this a lot in my past vlogs. Flats versus houses. Report came out this week that houses have outperformed the growth of flats by 5 times as a result of the pandemic. A 3-bedroom house is the most desirable thing out there across the country as a whole. Certainly locally, I would say probably a 4-bedroom property is the biggest demand I'm seeing, and between that sweet spot of pricing of sort of 800,000 to about 1.2, that is the fastest bracket you can imagine at the moment. So if you're thinking that you've got one of those properties and you'd like to capitalise on this great market, a question I get asked a lot at the moment is, should I list my property for sale in August? August traditionally would be a very quiet month. You'd never normally take your house to market because simply the schools are off, people are off on holiday, parents are devoting time to their children and childcare, and the usual rhythm of life gets suspended. Often it's difficult to make big decisions when we're on holiday because we go into holiday mode and get suspended from reality, and that is very true of August. So you wouldn't normally list in August. Of course, last August was manic. We'd closed the housing market for 7 weeks in the spring, which would normally be the busiest property market that we'd see. And although it had only been closed for 7 weeks, when it opened again, there was obviously extreme cautiousness, nervousness, people coming back out to view properties, etc. So that sort of spring market effectively pushed into the summer market. That was what made August so busy. People certainly weren't going away very much then. And all that demand of the spring and indeed people evaluating things through lockdown 1 surged into the summer market. Interestingly, I'm not feeling that quiet now. I've been speaking to my team, how do the phones feel when I've been out of the office, obviously, recently. inquiry levels, it still feels quite busy. We've just taken 4 new properties to market, 2 really nice flats in the town, 2 more family houses, a lovely property on Princes Street, value of just under just under £900,000, 890,000. Really lovely 4-bedroom, great garden. Princes Street, obviously a great location for the schools and the town. And equally Dorndon Drive, another great location for families. A lovely property there, just under the £1 million mark on that one. And that's a really, really great 4-bedroom, great downstairs reception space on that one, and a really pretty house. And Dorndon Drive again in Langton Green, very popular with families. So we're still very busy. That's 4 properties I've taken to market in the last week, and I've got 2 more to go today. And normally we probably wouldn't see those sort of listing levels in August. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And my advice to anybody, if you're thinking of selling at the moment, then the first step is just to get your house valued and understand your options. And we can go through all the pros and cons of listing in August and see if that fits your needs, always taking a very, very tailored approach. Well, just a final thing to end. I used to, of course, every week bring you an event that was going on locally. Of course, that all stopped. But the Gin Festival is back this weekend on the Pantiles. It's a great event. The Pantiles buzzes a lot of the time, but boy does it buzz on Gin Festival. Be interesting to see how people react to that, with restrictions being lifted. Will they still be in masks, etc.? But hopefully we're moving them to drink lots of gin and have a lovely time. So if you are a gin fan or want a great atmosphere this weekend, whatever the weather, come down and enjoy the Gin Festival. I hope you have a great week. I am now going to be on holiday for 2 weeks, so I will be back speaking to you around that midweek of August. Thank you so much for listening to all my vlogs. I'm off for a break, the first serious one in about 18 months, so I really need it. And look forward to catching up when I'm back. Bye bye.